Wherever you go, there you are. I'm currently on a backpacking trip around Europe, and I just spent the last week in Rome, and now I'm in Florence. And I can truly attest to the fact that wherever you go, there you are. The place is not what is wrong. It is the person in the place. As Seneca says, it's not so much of where you are or where you go, but who you are when you go. That is what matters most. It does not matter the location, the sights, even the other people you are with. It matters who you are. Because if you're in bad company at home, you'll be in bad company in Rome, in Florence, in Venice, in Paris, in Switzerland, in Asia, in Patagonia, wherever it is you think will change you, wherever it is that you think you just need to go, and then your life will be fulfilled. Happiness will just be within your grasp after you see the Colosseum or after you see the Mayan sculpture at Machu Picchu or after you see the mountains in Patagonia. These things are great cherries of life, but if you seek them out for more than they are, you are sorely mistaken. These places don't give meaning. These places don't give fulfillment, well-being. They're just cherries on top to a beautiful journey. And if you don't learn to enjoy the journey and fully immerse yourself in each and every place you go, you'll miss life. All we inhabit is the present moment. And when you delay your happiness to a future time and place, you simply are never happy. We never inhabit the future or the past. And if you allow yourself to live in either of those places, then you miss out on the present moment. You miss out on the beautiful, amazing divinity that each and every present moment offers. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that on his essay on nature, each along the lines of everything we see has never been seen before and will never be seen again. Each moment, each present moment offers that divinity, that amazing chance to appreciate something that has never been and will never be again. And what a pity it is not to enjoy that to its absolute fullest. What a pity it is to not completely immerse yourself in the present moment. And Marcus Aurelius starts off doesn't start it off, but in the beginning of book 2 of Meditations, he says how we need to do each and everything we do the best we can. And, I think most people would agree with that. It's a pretty easy thing to come up with. But then he gives you instructions on how to do this. And he says, do each and everything like that of a dying person, as if it was your last time ever doing it. And fully immerse yourself in each and every moment. Give things your full attention. When you're home, don't dream of Rome. And when you're in Rome, don't dream of home. Because when you do that, you neither enjoy home nor Rome. You don't enjoy anything. You're imprisoning your happiness to the future, saying, I will be happy if I can just go here, whether that's home or a destination. And you're also dwelling on the past, saying, why didn't I appreciate that place more? Why didn't I appreciate the peace I had? Why did I get bored of peace? I have the Waking Up app by Sam Harris. And a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, a quote struck me that just, it won't leave me alone. It haunts me in a beneficial manner. And that quote was, "Do not get bored of peace." It is so sad when we get bored of peace. And I truly did get bored of peace. And I think that's why it haunted me constructively, because I realized that I realized I was getting bored of the amount of peace that I had, the amount of freedom that I had. And I allowed myself to squander my peace. And in doing so, now in this present moment, I regret it. And I don't, this, I mean, these videos are about me in a certain sense, but I think they're also meant to be lessons that I think everyone can learn from, because I think everyone does it. They put their happiness in a place that they do not occupy. And by doing so, they always put their happiness in a place they do not occupy. They say, once I am here, I will be happy. And then they get there and they say, I see, I have to go there. Then I'll be happy. And then they go there and they say, oh, foolish me. I had to go there. I had to go there and then I will be happy. And I don't know why, but that just reminded me of a story from The Alchemist, the book. And, I'll sum up the book very quick, but he basically gets put on a journey to go find this treasure. And it's a big, long journey. And I don't even really know why this reminded me of this, but I'll just tell you guys anyways, because it's on the top of my head and I can't get it off. But he basically gets to the spot that this person told him he will find the treasure in. And a group of bandits come. And he's digging. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And he doesn't lie. He says, "I'm digging for treasure that I was told is right here." And I can't remember exactly what happens next, but I think they tie him up, do something to him, dig, and then one of the guys says, "I had a dream once too that there was treasure in this church, but I wasn't foolish enough to believe in it." And he took that, he didn't say, "Oh, my treasure is not here. My treasure was never real. This guy is right." He took that in that exact spot. He got another map to another journey of where his treasure was. And he found the treasure in that church that that guy who tied him up said that he once had a dream of the treasure being there. And like I said, I don't know why that just reminded me of that. But I just had to get it off the top of my head because everything's off the top of my head in these videos. And if I let something linger, I can't completely give you myself and the lesson I'm trying to provide you. So I'm sorry if that was off topic. And I'm also sorry if these videos aren't as good as normal because I'm a little shy and I hear people outside and one of my roommates might come in at any second. So yeah, I care what people think. I'm not wise. As many of you know, but some are fooled by my speak. I am not wise. As Seneca said, I'm like you. I'm a patient in the same hospital. I've just been there a little longer, and I'm trying to potentially give you some lessons that will help you because I've gone through the same sickness and I'm still fighting, but I found little things that help and little tools. So I like to bring them to your attention. But don't get it mistaken. I am in the same sick ward as you because I think we're all truly sick to a certain degree. But that's just the way, that's how life is. And that's how you learn your lessons. And that's the other thing. There's no There's no such thing as a painless lesson. But I want to stay on the topic of this video. Wherever you go, there you are. And if you're in bad company here, you'll be in bad company there. And I'm honestly having a great time on this trip. I'm only about a week in, but I've been having a great time. But I need to learn how to travel. I need to learn to make time for the things that I love to do, like post videos, read, write, go to the gym, go for runs. I haven't been making time for these things, and it's been making me distraught. So I think that's another lesson too. You have to make time for the things that give you peace of mind and help you. Everyone is different. Some people can spend a day just laying in bed doing nothing and be perfectly at peace. Others, need to go to the gym. Others need to move. Others need to read. Others need to write. Everyone's different. Know thyself. Know thyself. I'm sorry that this video is all over the place, but I haven't made a video in like 2 weeks, even though I posted the other day. I post a lot of videos and schedule them out. If you couldn't tell by some of my hair length change from time to time, and I'm sure none of you watch my videos that religiously, but if you do, that is why. But it's just I have a lot on my mind, and I truly was struggling with this trip, struggling because I am truly invested in the idea that traveling is a fool's paradise. Ralph Waldo Emerson says this. And what am I doing? I'm traveling. And I think that's why I need to learn how to travel for me. It doesn't mean going out. It doesn't mean not going out at all. It's a balance of things, but still staying true to myself, seeing the things I want to see, doing the things I want to do, while still putting time to advance my wisdom and my knowledge and my learning, while immersing myself into a culture and having faith that everything happens for a reason, and that reason is for the best. And just like I said, always immerse yourself in the present moment, because I regret how I spent my time back at home. I didn't enjoy loved ones enough. I didn't enjoy my dogs enough. I got sick of peace. I got sick of being at peace. And that is truly a pity. And now I regret it. And part of me just wants to go home. But the discomfort I feel here, I believe, is growth. Because you cannot, growing pains are a thing with our body. So why do you think mental growth will not involve pain, will not involve discomfort, will not involve change? There's things more important in life than making money and working. And to me, that is mental advancement. That is becoming a better person. That is growing internally. The things no one can see, instead of accumulating external things that can be measured. The most important things in life cannot be measured. How much love you give, how kind you are, how pure your intentions are, how virtuous you are, how many vices you've eliminated, how much you've bettered yourself. Those things cannot be weighed. You cannot point to something and say, that's what I did. I went from there to there. But people know when they see you and when they talk to you. They know you've grown. They know you've changed. They may not even know how. They might not even know why. They may not even really get it from what you say. They just get the vibe that you have grown. And that is something precious. And it's not from your clothes. It's not from the car you drive. It's not from how much money you have in your bank account. It's the vibe that you give off. So the main points I want to make in this video are just, wherever you are, enjoy it. There's lessons to be learned every day, from every person, from every situation. And if you're lost in the past or lost in the future, you're going to miss the lessons you could gain in the present moment and miss the moments you could be enjoying. You never know the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory. That is this, I think it's a sad truth of life. It's a beautiful truth, but it's sad because we so often don't appreciate moments that become some of our fondest memories. And I mean, as I sit here and say that, and I think of fond memories, it's not when I hit that, dollar amount in my bank account or when I got a raise. It was the simple pleasures of life that I enjoyed deeply. It was the simple moments with loved ones. It was the simple things like watching a shooting star after work at 1 a.m. on my deck as I slowly slept accidentally. But yeah, those are the beautiful moments that we remember. And in the present moment, it's hard to realize that those are going to be some of your fondest memories. I remember one time I tried to be truly present in and I was in Oregon and I was at a waterfall. Forgive me for not knowing the waterfall, but it was near the Blue Pools, if you know where that is. And I remember just sitting there for 30 minutes and I tried to be as present as possible. And I stared at one spot and I can still picture it today because I've immersed myself so much in the present. The wave was coming over this tree branch, and every 5 seconds, the flow of water would change. A big burst would come up over the branch, and then it'd go to the side. And then 5 seconds, a big burst to the side. And then to the left side, there was a bunch of moss growing on the rocks. And then there was also a big log right in the middle, like a quarter of it leaning over the edge, somehow still holding on. And the mist and rainbows were in the water, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And in that moment, I strived to be completely present, and it made that moment a fond memory. And again, I'm sorry for being all over the place with these videos. They're probably too long, and they probably waste your time. Actually, I don't think they do. I would never want to waste your time. I think the information I present is valuable, but sometimes you got to bear with me because it's all off the top of my head. But I think it always comes to a point where there's divine points. And if I could give one advice to the whole world, it would be trust the still small voice within. Trust that voice within that tells you to quit your job, to travel the world, to go back to college, to ask the girl out, to not do what those people are doing, to get up early, to go to bed early, to go to the gym, to start eating healthy, to stop smoking weed, to stop smoking nicotine, to stop drinking alcohol. Trust that voice, because I believe that voice is God. That voice is divine. And that voice is, Carl Jung says that is, everyone seeks a mentor. But each of us has a God inside that is trying to be our mentor that we don't listen to. And to me, that is the biggest sin of humans, to reject the God within. Now, I don't hold myself to one religion, but I do believe in God some days. And today I do. And to me, he is the still small voice. And I also believe, and the Bible says that. And the Bible also says, knock and he shall answer, seek and you shall find, something like that. And I think with the voice, it's the same thing. Ask the voice, what should I do? And the voice is not, the voice is not going to give you a convenient answer. And something I think we always need to remind ourselves is that, one, virtue is not convenient. If you want to be virtuous, then you give up a convenient life, because virtue is not convenient. Virtue is so often the hardest thing to do. It's being patient with the person who has never been patient with you. It's picking up that piece of trash that's out of your way, that's dirty, that's probably got a bunch of germs on it. It's being kind to that person that has never shown you kindness. Virtue is not convenient. And also, virtue is a verb. Aristotle says this. Virtue is a verb. It is actions. It is actions. I could sit here all day and spout off all this stuff, but there's no virtue other than the action of me trying to teach and better myself through teaching and better you through teaching. But virtue is an action. And when I was in Rome, it's funny too, because in that, when I said, Ralph Waldo Emerson says traveling is a fool's paradise. He says, I go to the Vatican to intox myself with beauty, and then I go to Naples and I dream of, or in Rome, or in the Vatican I dream of Naples. In Naples I dream of some other place, and wherever we go we dream of the next place. But it's funny because I was in the Vatican a couple days ago, intoxicated with beauty. I was in Rome, intoxicated with beauty, and I found myself there. And it's the same person I've always found. I've grown quite fond of myself, but I still struggle sometimes. There's still parts of me that I struggle with. But the idea of traveling alone, because I am solo traveling, gives me immense joy, because I'm traveling with my best friend. And that's not narcissistic. Each and every one of us should be our own best friends. And if you're not, you have an internal battle that you have not won, you have not solved. And I am my best friend, but I think, like with all true best friends, you spend too much time with them and then you start bickering, you start fighting, and then you need a break from yourself for a little bit. And Seneca also says this. He says the amazing thing about solitude and being around people is that they're both each other's cures. You've had too much solitude, you need to go be around people. You've been around too much people, you need solitude. And it's good to know which is which, or what you need when you need it. But wherever you go, there you are. And it sucks if you travel in bad company. But just because you have a bad day, and just because you have a bad week, doesn't mean you're in the wrong place. Your path is, many ups and downs. Your true and ultimate path. And just because you're in a down doesn't mean you're not on the right path. And also, if your path involves you getting lost, are you really lost? Or are you just on your path and you need to get lost to learn lessons? Like I said earlier, if you don't allow yourself to learn the lessons that the present moment is trying to teach you, you'll waste your time. Even if you're sad, even if whatever, there's a lesson that is trying to be taught to you. And if you're dreaming of the future or regretting the past, you're missing valuable lessons the present moment is trying to offer you. I had a lot to get off my chest, if you couldn't tell. But I am enjoying this trip. But I was pretty sad the other day. I almost decided to go home. And that's why I talk about the down. But I'm in a better mood now. And I'm trying to place less of myself in feelings. We should always be suspicious of a strong feeling. And we should never make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. And that's why I said, if you're down for a week, It's not long enough to make permanent decisions. If you've been down for 4 or 5 years and you think it's your job, you've had enough time. It's not a temporary emotion. It's a permanent emotion. It's something that you need to change. But don't be so quick to judge negative emotions, because you can't have good without bad. And you should fully experience everything, because if you fully experience your lows, then you allow yourself to fully experience your highs. And that's a beautiful thing, because you learn the lessons from your lows and you gain the joy from your highs. That's a truly beautiful thing. But yeah, if you made it to this point, you probably actually like my videos. So thank you. And I will try to keep posting. I have no videos scheduled, so every video from here will be on my trip. And I'm going to try to be good and post. But, if there's people in the room, I'm not going to be able to, because I can't think straight. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. And if I can leave you with one thing, as I said, as Carl Jung says, we all have the greatest mentor we have inside. We have the mentor that taught Marcus Aurelius, that taught Jesus, and it is within us. And we should look no further.